what got you into house music originally, and when did you get into it?
Sure. So shortly after high school, I had a friend of mine who was DJing like a lot of people, Sweet 16s, private parties, things like that. And, he had his deck set up at his house. And it's funny because at the time, like my time back then, it wasn't the CDJ that it is now. It was like these little Pioneer 700s. They were like these little small CDJs. And it was funny. Had them kind of like set up. And I just remember kind of going back and, we would like mess around with them at the time. Like Tribal House was big and all these like big Jersey anthems. So we would go back and play like all this ridiculous music. And that was it. I slowly just kind of evolved from there, and the same group of people. The guy had a studio, and again, not to, date myself, but back then, like having a studio was a little different than now. It wasn't just like a laptop with a pair of monitors. You needed a mixer, and working on a computer. It wasn't in its infancy, but it wasn't as commonplace as it is now. So it was just kind of cool to see it that, like a wall of synths and things like that. Like you needed all that equipment back then to kind of get started. So it was like interesting just to kind of see it in that perspective. And it kind of just made me really, really like it. And again, rather now when it's like you can just do all this stuff like right on a laptop, while that is interesting, it was just cooler to see the larger format of it back then. And that I was just, hooked after that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. A whole wall of, was it like the kind of situation where you're like plugging wires into different?
Yes, patch bay, and everything had to go into the mixer because you wouldn't have these sound cards that had like 48 inputs. So, it all had to go into the mixer and get like sub-mixed down. And, like Yamaha was making synths back then. And like, there wasn't like Moog and Prophet and stuff. And it was like all digital. You would have Roland stuff. And yeah, it was cool. And it was like, it was troublesome too, because, if like something went out or like a MIDI cable broke, it was just funny to have. It was just a different environment, but I enjoy it. I enjoy now as well, but it was also fun to see that, part of it as well. Same thing with the record stores. I think digital at the time was coming in, but few and far between. There were still record stores, and I think that's a big part of what I miss is like being able to go to the record store on a Tuesday, see your friends, get new music, and I kind of got to see both worlds of that. So I was happy in the beginning. But yeah,
so cool. Yeah. So I know you don't want to date yourself, but you and me are in the same boat. We can own it. Like when was this?
So this is probably in like 2004, I would say. I went to SAE in the city, and that's kind of like, it was a little bit prior to that. So I would say around like 2003 to 2005 is when kind of all this was happening. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Oh man. Yeah.
Feels like just yesterday though, doesn't it?
I know it does. It does.
Best show you've ever played?
Oh, that's an easy one. So in 2018, I got asked by Green Velvet to open up for him at Szymanski, and Szymanski was like, it was cool at the time. I mean, I don't even think it's there anymore. I think the club is still there, but they're not doing anything. So, and what was so cool about that night, it was just me and him on the lineup. He had come in, asked me to play. I got 3 hours. He got 3 hours. The best gig of my life. There was a line around the block. I don't think, and close to the gig that me and you played at Elro. That is definitely a close second, but yeah. Definitely opening up for Green Velvet for 3 hours at Szymanski to a packed house from like the jump was by far my best gig.
Wow. That's
yeah.
2013, you said?
2019 or 2018. I'm sorry. 2018. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I was going to say, wasn't it verboten?
Yeah. It was verboten before then. Yeah.
I wish I was there at that show. I was living in New York already.
Yeah.
Thanks for the invite.
Sorry. And it's so funny that you say that because, the how I met you was on the roof of some party that Devin was doing, and it was that WMC. And I think like right after that, I played that gig. I remember talking to you about Made Event, and I was like, I remember when they were Mike Binger, and you were like, well, Binger's not doing it anymore, blah, blah, blah. And I think I met you that WMC, and it was the next month. So I apologize.
What has been your most exciting track support?
So Kashmir did a remix of a track that I did, and Kashmir is like Green Velvet's alias. And unfortunately, it's not mine, but Annie Mac played it on her Radio 1 show. And that was like awesome. Yes, you can have like, Marco Carolla play your track out in a club and, that's great. But like that to me was like really special. That's almost like a legendary thing. And again, it wasn't my track, but it still was a remix of my song still got played. So I would say that's definitely the best support. But, just throughout the years, I've gotten good plays from Cash and, a couple other big DJs. So it's been pretty exciting. But yeah, the Annie Mac thing was cool.
That's so sick. Yeah, at least your name and many of the elements of the track were all you.
Yeah, we're there. Yeah. A little bit of it, yeah.
Well, I just thought of this, but what do you think would be the most exciting track support for you now moving forward?
Probably like Jamie Jones, you know what I mean? Like everyone has Marco Carolla playing or Joseph Capriati playing their music, but like to have Jamie like rock your track would be to me would be really, really good. I have a lot of respect for him. Yeah, I think Jamie Jones would be on the top of my list. Yeah.
All right, so tell me about the process of making Make You Move, the track that you released with Mixed Signals.
Cool. So with that one, for me, it was all about the SH 101 bass line, that kind of like synthy bass line. It almost sounds like the lately bass line from the DX7. So I wanted to do something like that, and I kind of just based it around that. I knew the key of the song I wanted to work with, and I kind of just built the drums around it. One cool thing about that track, I was stuck for like a lead for a very long time, just like the vocal, and I stumbled across some plugins. And if anyone wants to go out and check these out, it's the Arturia filter plugins, and there was a Moog one in particular that was like awesome. And I ran a straight MIDI note, nothing, just a straight MIDI note in, and put this filter on it, and that's how the lead of the song came. You could tell it's like almost musical. That was a straight note ran through that filter. So that was kind of cool that I stumbled across that. And, I had mentioned this, I put the track down for a little bit because I needed something in it. I needed a vocal. I couldn't find it. And then finally I ran that sample and I was able to get something. And that was pretty much it. The track kind of came together after that. And I was happy with it at the end. I wish I could have made it move a little bit. It's kind of funny to say that, but I wish I could have made it move a little bit quicker. But everyone has things they would have done differently. But overall, I was very happy with the track. Very happy it came out on your label, and you'll be getting more music from me, definitely. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. No. Every time I play it, like at least in my opinion, there's no lacking in movement or progression.
Thank you. Yeah.
How much time would you say you spent on it? Like, it sounds like you didn't overthink it and tinker with it, which is a good thing.
Yeah, no, I don't. Like, I'll put stuff down and work on something new. I used to beat myself up about, I have to get this track done. And it's like, I'll put it down and then try something out new. I would say maybe 2 months for the drums, the bass, that lead, put it down for a month, came back to the vocal, worked on it. And then, just getting the mix right probably takes about a month, just going back and forth between my car and, everything else. So, all in all, probably, about 2 or 3 months. I wish I could make tracks quicker. That's been my Achilles heel since day one.
Same.
Yeah.
What all do you test it on other than the car?
The AirPods are okay. It's a little bit subjective. I just got a pair of Focal monitors. So like for me, it's nice. I could play those low and I still get a really, really good bass response. And I don't have a treated room, but I'll walk around the room and you can hear stuff differently. So it was a lot of that, a lot of playing it at low volume. I think like if you go in and try to mix at a high volume, that's like the worst thing you could do. You have the track at a listening, low talking level, and you could hear like inconsistencies and stuff. But between that and the car, I'm pretty set. I wish I had more places to go. Yeah, or more, another pair of monitors. Yeah. But Focal all the way. Yeah. If you can get them.
Sick. Yeah, maybe I should stay up for that. I've been using Yamaha HS8 for over 10 years. Yeah. But it'd be good to have 2 different monitors.
Mm-hmm. It all comes down to, at the end of the day, knowing your room. I mean, listen, you got the best monitors, the best treated room, but like just bring in, material. That's the thing too, if you A/B stuff, but I don't know, without having a treated room, the best pair of monitors in the world isn't going to get you anything. I feel.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I walk around the room as well a lot. And every time I mention that to other like more experienced mixing engineers are always like, "What? No, that's not a good idea. Like, you just that's not gonna. It's gonna give you like a false sense of things." And I'm always like, I don't know. I really feel like it helps.
Yeah, just because you can hear the bass when you walk onto the side of a monitor. I don't know. I guess maybe you are hearing reflections from the wall. I mean, you could argue this for days, but like, yeah, I'm with you 100%. I walk around the room, because as soon as you stand up, you're hearing things differently, But yeah.
Yeah, and just going over to like a corner or something where like the low end just becomes like really big, and you hear what it would feel like in a club or in a warehouse, and you get a better sense of what the track is or is meant to be or can be. Yeah.
Yeah. And the engineers will argue that too, because the corners are where the bass will actually trap. Like a corner, we call that a bass trap. So because that's where the bass gets trapped in the corner. But for us, I hear you. It's like almost like, wow, this is how it would sound reflecting off the wall in the club. And I almost want to hear that, where a trained engineer would be like, no, put some foam there, buddy.
What's on the horizon for you professionally and personally, if you have anything to share?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. So I'm definitely going to start making a lot more music. I took a little bit of a hiatus after COVID. Things kind of fell apart with the people I was working with, and I kind of took a little bit of a step back. But I've been getting some more gear and things like that. So I've been trying to spark the production bug again. So I will start producing a lot. Gigs are going to start coming too. I want to start playing out again. It's just been trying to get some time to get myself together to get things moving. But other than that, things are great. I'm traveling a lot for work, which is great. So I've been seeing a lot of the United States I haven't been able to see before, which is fun. So, everything is good. Everything is good. I can't complain right now.
Awesome. The track you put out on Moxie this past week.
Oh yeah, the Moxie track. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, you reminded me. Yeah, that was great. That just came out. So, but I want to start just doing more stuff like that, bigger labels, and just just bigger stuff. I'm not done.
No way.
Not yet.
What would be your dream gig or dream venue to play?
Oh man, that's tough. I'm not like you, where like you travel a lot, so you see a lot of these European venues. Like, so, for me, and I would get laughed at a lot. For me, I would think like that outside of the Brooklyn Mirage would have been awesome. And while that's funny and it's mad commercial now, like that was just when you're like, I've been on the stage there a couple times, like watching people play. Like that is a freaking really cool venue to play at outside when like the vibe is cool. Other than that, I mean, anything in Ibiza, I would probably be happy with.
Even some like tiny bar.
Yeah. Yes. I don't know. If I'd want to go out there just to play a tiny bar, but I mean, that new place, Universe, that just opened up, looks pretty cool. But I'm easy. Yeah, but no more Brooklyn Mirage. So I'll have to pick something else.
Yeah, it's being demolished.
Demolished.
For now,
yeah.
I don't know.
For now. Yeah.
I don't know what's going to become of it.
Yeah, they said that's not the end, so I don't know. I mean,
I honestly don't either.
The Sphere, New York.
That's actually a good idea. Who would be your dream back-to-back partner?
Charles, since me and you played already, I can't say that,
Exactly.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. You got me. But back to the Jamie Jones thing, there's someone who would be cool to play with, right? Darius, I would love to play with Darius Cerruti and Danny Tenaglia. I mean, yeah, even though he's old classic guy, that's like my number one guy that got me into DJing.
There was a time where like Carl Cox, Richie Houghton, all the techno guys like that were all using Tractor, and I feel like it just stopped one day. But I'm not 100% sure. Maybe they are still using it.
Maybe. I mean, I feel like once the CDJs accepted a USB stick, like what's the point? Why travel with the extra stuff?
Is the sync button a sign of weakness or a sign of wisdom?
As long as the music is good, I don't care really. I mean, again, back to aging ourselves, I had to learn how to beat match. Like if I wanted to play at the local bar that I started at, you had to beat match, so that was kind of cool in the sense where it weeded out the people who would just, just do it for the fun, now, but again, I don't know, if you're in an underground party playing underground music, like you're there to hear the music. Yeah. I don't care what you're doing. Yeah.
Okay. Final Jeopardy.
Yes.
Tell me about a time that you got mixed signals from the world, from life, from a person or a group of people. And how did you react or respond or overcome?
Sure. So I get mixed signals every time I send music to a record label. And this is something that I think anybody can relate to. The most mixed signals ever, I think, come from responses from them. It's like, you go back and forth and they like it, they don't, and we're going to wait and we're going to do this. And, and it's hard to, like just kind of roll with the punches in that sense, but you have to, and it makes you have thicker skin and understand the process a little bit better. And yeah, I think that was a great example of when I get mixed signals, when I've gotten them and still get them to this very day. So I think that would be a good example of that.
Yeah. Perfect example. Yeah.
That's
why I launched this label.
Exactly. Right. I think everyone can relate to that one.
Cool. That's all I got.
All right. I'll see you, homie. Take care. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, man.
All right. Later.